Hello all, I thought I'd do a little video on a project I've been working on. As many of you are aware, this is a Sawviver. It's a very lightweight backpacking saw for cutting wood to length. This generally goes in line with a fixed blade knife for your fire making needs in terms of firewood and other bushcraft type stuff. But this is a fairly popular saw. It's lightweight, very easy to put together. The blade stores in there. You just simply put the blade on here, tighten the screw, little wing nut, and you're pretty much in business. So there you go, there's your saw. I put some paracord here just to wrap it in case I needed to go off of it. Two-handed operation, but that's pretty much your saw. It's a nice design, I like it. I'll probably take it with me in the woods quite a bit, but that's really the best option I know of commercially to take yourself a small saw into the woods. You can make some yourself, but out of wood, but for what you can buy at the store, this is pretty good solution. So, and then taking it down, of course, is just the reverse of putting it together. It's very easy, very quick. And you put the blade back where it came. And strap that onto your pack or put it in your pack or whatever, and there you go. So that's the Sawviver, which many of you are aware of. But I've been working on an alternative that, more for fun than anything else, but a breakdown buck saw. So this is what I've come up with. So this is a 21-inch blade as opposed to the Sawviver, which is a 15-inch blade, so you have a little bit more stroke depth, which can make for a little bit easier time of it. So just to show you how this thing works, the string is obviously the windlass string, just a little piece of 550 cord, and I've got a rubber band to hold some of the pieces together. You've got the winding stick, the 21-inch blade, which I've ground a little bit off the end just to have the one hole only, and then in here you have, let me show you this top view. Here you have the arms for it. They fit inside the strength member of the support beam. So the way this thing goes together, which is a little bit more time consuming than the Sawviver, but you just put this here, put this here, that forms your saw. So you well, the way that I have this one set up is you have this little set screw in here that you back out as far as you need to put the saw blade on. The nice thing about the set screw is you never have to back it out all the way, so you don't really risk dropping the little part in the grass or whatever. The bad part is you have to have this tool. Now in my case, I always have a Leatherman with me, and I just make sure that I have the right bit with me when I'm going to use this. Another alternative would be to embed the right bit into the windlass stick, and then effectively form a screwdriver embedded in that, which would work well. I just don't have an extra Allen wrench I can use to do that. It would be relatively easy to do. You just drill a hole in it and epoxy it in, and you'd have essentially a screwdriver with the right bit on it. So that's on there. The blade's on there now. You just, there's little notches to lock it in place, and then you put the string on, and you spin it up. Ah. I should really notch the winding stick, but and you can put a lot of tension on this, and essentially these become like kind of little bows, and it tightens in, and that's not going anywhere. This is the first one I made. It's a little heavier duty than it really needs to be. I mean, and it's fine, it's just that it weighs a little bit more than it would have to. It weighs 13 ounces, as you see it here, with all this stuff on it, and the rubber band, I guess. But that's pretty much exactly 13 ounces. Actually, just a little bit under 13 ounces, because I replaced these with smaller screws. But that's it, and I thought it works out pretty well. It collapses down to a pretty small size, and it makes for a very usable bow saw. The depth of cut is a little bit less than it would be, I think, on this. Well, actually, no, it's about the same. So I thought it might be a little bit less, but it's basically the same. So, but you get an extra 6 inches of stroke cut, so that's kind of nice. So anyway, that's it. And then I've actually made another one that I'm not going to show you all put together, but I made it out of, this one's made out of oak, and this one is made out of walnut. The reason I tried that was because walnut is a little bit lighter per cubic inch than oak is, and I also realized after I made this one that this support beam was a lot beefier than it really needed to be. So on this one I made the sides thinner, made this piece a little bit smaller, and just basically made everything a little bit lighter weight than I did on the previous one, so that it would be lighter overall. I also have these drilled in the top, so instead of having to have the tool, you just spin these out by hand, and then they will fit in these supports just like these do. And this one is 10.6 ounces, I believe, so it is a bit lighter, and it would work fine too. The walnut's harder to work with, though. It's more brittle wood than oak is. So if you're thinking about making one, unless you're really trying to shave the ounces off, I would suggest just going with oak or something like that, because it's just a little easier to work with. Ash would also be a good choice. So anyway, thought I'd share that with you. My homemade buck saw, collapsible buck saw. So let me know what you think.